But meantime, a big breakthrough for the Trump campaign. Several more states joining Texas in its challenge against the 2020 election. Last night, the U.S. Supreme Court ordered Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Georgia to reply to the lawsuit filed this week by Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton. Joining us to discuss, Jordan Sekulow, the executive director of American Center for Law and Justice, also a member of President Trump's legal team. Jordan, it's great to see you. You've described this Texas case as the be-all, end-all. Why do you describe it as such?
Well, because this is the outcome determinative case that we've been talking about on Newsmax with you throughout this process, because these four states, it combines 62 electoral votes at stake. That means that if the Supreme Court were to side with Texas and these other states that are starting to join Texas, and the president indicating this morning he will intervene in this case as well, and of course the Supreme Court not just taking the Texas bill of complaint, which is original jurisdiction, but actually then requiring the response by these four states by tomorrow. This is the case that would, again, could change the outcome of the election, because there's two resolutions, if you will, two ways to resolve this if the court sides with Texas that these states violated the constitutional law as respects to the electors clause, because it's state legislatures that have to change election law. It says that in the Constitution in Article 2, due process and equal protection in the 14th Amendment. That's why you got this case that gets to go already right away to the Supreme Court, because it's state versus state, which is in Article 3 of the Constitution. And what we're talking about is two remedies. One, if the Supreme Court sides with Texas and these other states, that the state legislatures in those states have to pick a new slate of electors. And then it will be up, and they are all Republican legislatures in these states, even in states with Democrat governors like Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania. The state legislatures are Republican, as well as Georgia's. The other remedy is that if they can't get their act together and do that, then it would go to Congress. Well, people might say, oh, no, because the House is controlled by, Democrats have the House of Representatives, but it's actually by state delegation, and Republicans have a 27 to 22 margin there. So then it could go to Congress. So there's two options available for remedies. But before we get too far along in that, the big point of this is that the Supreme Court wants to see how the states respond. And then we will know after tomorrow at 3 p.m. how again, the court is going to proceed. Will it proceed with more responsive briefing, or will they even come out with potentially a decision or some kind of order on how they'll hear argument in the case?
Wow. Okay, so that was just a chunk of information that you shared with us right now. So I appreciate you doing so. Again, those 62 electoral votes is what you note from those states there that are, again, included in that lawsuit by Texas. And now some other states have joined in as well. When you mentioned earlier that the president wants to intervene, what do you think he really means by that? Is he sending sort of his lawyers as well to support the AG of Texas?
So there's a couple of ways to intervene, and you can ask the court to intervene. You can file a motion to intervene as a party. So the president may very well decide that that is the option he wants to take. So he would actually become a party to this lawsuit filed by Texas. All this has to happen very quickly. This is all going to happen in 24 hours or less. And then that would be the same way like states. If they want to intervene, they can do it by actually asking to become a party. Or they could file, and the president could do this as well, an amicus brief. And it'd still be like intervening. You'd be getting involved. So you'd be filing a friend of the court brief. This all has to happen within about 24 hours if you want to do it immediately while the court is taking this up, because we don't know how much further the court is going to go past tomorrow when they get the briefs and responsive briefs back from the states at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I think we should know a lot from the court by Friday. It could even be Thursday night, but definitely by Friday, about if they're going to continue with further proceedings or if they actually have some kind of dispositive opinion on this.
All right, so we got to get you back on the program then so we can analyze the Supreme Court's results here and their announcements and these states' responses since they've got that time to file. But talk to me about this timeline. We just passed Safe Harbor Day.
Sure.
And we're waiting for those electors to cast their ballots next week as well. Does that kind of put some pressure on the timeline for these lawsuits?
I think it puts more pressure on the court, but the late Justice Ginsburg said, the key date is really January 6th. That's when Congress certifies the election results and the Electoral College votes. So even though, and really in the Constitution, she noted, the late Justice Ginsburg, that it's January 20th is the only date really mentioned. The rest of this is statutory, and if you had a constitutional challenge, that outweighs that. So yes, time is of the essence here because we're getting even close to January 6th and close to January 20th. But, and that is why I think the court, they decided to do, you've got to respond within 2 days is what they told these states. And by the afternoon, that could even give the court time to come out with a decision on how to proceed or not to proceed by tomorrow, because they'd be getting this early enough in the afternoon to take in what the states have to say. But with these other intervening parties, it will be interesting to see if that actually pushes the court into Friday.
Okay, well, it's all moving very quickly, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning and give us an update. Jordan Sekulow joining us live on the program. Jordan, thanks so much.
Thanks, Emma.